Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Quran in English Basics for Beginners. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Surah 50, an amazing chapter reminding us about the reality of the hereafter. Verse number 16. Surah Kaf, the mystical, mysterious, cryptic letter. It was we who created man, and we know what dark suggestions his soul makes to him. For we are nearer to him than his jugular vein. Once again, the Quran is confirming and rejecting the notion of the followers of Charles Darwin and the evolutionists and the creationists and those who don't believe in God, the atheists and the agnostics and so on, who simply believe that human beings have come from apes and monkeys, or that this entire universe is a feature of chance, and it is just by chance that creatures have come to life on the planet Earth, and human beings have come by chance, and they don't believe in God. They don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Kalamullah, is saying without any doubt whatsoever that human beings have not come through evolution. Monkeys haven't created human beings. The unicellular organism 4.5 billion years ago, every life form, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the supreme creator of the heavens and the earth, who created mankind, the most noble and outstanding of all of his creatures, because man was created in the best of molds of all of the molds of other creatures. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything because he is closer to us than our jugular vein or carotid artery. So this also once again is a warning to various leaders of the world who are causing crime and corruption because of the dark suggestions of their soul. So whether you are an honorable member of parliament or a president or a pope or a prime minister or a senator or a premier or a mayor or an honorable member of a local ward council, it doesn't matter who you are. Whether you're a king or a prince or a Hollywood star, remember that no matter what evil deeds that you are doing to enrich yourself and your family, God knows exactly what you are doing, because all your secret meetings that you are having, where you are thinking and assuming that there's no one else there with you in the boardroom, when you are getting that money for bribery, money for crime and corruption, and that nobody knows what's going on, what you're forgetting that God knows exactly what's going on, because you cannot run away from him, you cannot escape him. Behold, two guardian angels appointed to learn his doings, learn and note them, one sitting on the right and one on the left. These are known as the Kiraman Katibin. So while you are doing your criminal activities in parliament and in government, or if you're part of big business and you are doing monopoly of price control, and you are interfering with the prices so that you can enrich yourself and your company, or you're fiddling and manipulating the share index, whether it is the New York Stock Exchange or the Johannesburg Stock Exchange or the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, whatever crimes that you are doing, there are angels who are recording everything. They are sitting there with you. Everywhere you go, you cannot escape them. And there's no X-ray machine that's going to find them. You cannot find them through X-ray machines or MRI scanners, because they are in the spiritual dimension, which you deny. You don't believe in the spiritual dimension. But these recording angels are recording everything, all your criminal activities that you are doing. They are recording everything. And on the day of judgment, they will present the hard drive, and you will see all your crimes there on a huge, large, smart TV for the world to see. And that is the day when your own family and friends will be embarrassed by the crime and corruption you caused in government. You lived in big, big houses, drove fancy cars, and people thought that you were a wonderful mayor or an outstanding citizen. But on that day you will be brought to shame and humiliation in the same way that the people on the Epstein files are being brought to shame and humiliation. And the shame and humiliation being suffered for the people on the Epstein file is nothing compared to that on the day of judgment, because on the world there's no justice. People are not being sent to court for the crime that they are doing, but on the day of judgment, it is a day of absolute and perfect justice, which nobody can escape. On that day, the celebrities, lawyers are not going to help you. Your bank balance is not going to help you. Your government contacts are not going to help you. You're going to be there all alone with the crimes that you have done, or the evil that you have done, or the harm that you have committed on humanity, whether as an individual or as a nation or globally. If you're part of that ideology of colonialism and imperialism and expansionist policies, where millions of slaves from the African continent and from West Africa were taken across the Atlantic Ocean over a 3-month period, so many died horrific deaths just so that America can become a first world nation. And so many people from China were put into slavery in America, and so on. And so there's so many other nations of examples, whether it is the Irish slaves or the Scottish. There's so many examples throughout the world and that slavery is still continuing today in the first world 21st nation, because now we have what are known as sex slaves or sex trafficking. There are so many scam artists who will come out with fabulous adverts. Hey, there's a wonderful opportunity in Dubai or in Europe. You just have to teach. There's a very wealthy family that you just have to teach their children how to read and write and be a private tutor, and you will make so much bucks. And you innocently go there because you don't have a job, and you think you're going to send money back to your family, and lo and behold, what happens? There's so many people from Europe, from East Europe, from Asia, from China, and from the Far East, and from Africa who have fallen victims. The minute they land there, these scam artists confiscate their passport, they throw them into the basement, and they are raped and prostituted for the next 20 years of their life. This is a sad reality of today's criminal world. And that is why God, most merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has sent and created human beings to be His Vicegerent. And that it is important for the good people to stand up. It is important for the good nations to stand up whenever they see evil or injustice. Because as a famous quotation by Edmund Burke says, that evil prevails when good people do nothing. So this is a reminder to those honorable members, whether they're honorable members in our own country, South Africa, or the honorable members anywhere on the African continent, or the honorable members anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter which nation you are in. You can be in America or Russia or China or South Africa or Malaysia or Lesotho or Kenya or Morocco or Venezuela or Brazil or Sweden or Switzerland or Russia or Ukraine or India or Bangladesh or Australia or New Zealand. It does not matter. The recording angels are recording your crime. If you are a part of government and you are involved in corruption, you're going to stand in front of God on the day of judgment, and that is a guarantee. And you're going to account for what you have done. Not a word does he utter, but there is a sentinel by him ready to note it. And the stupor of death will bring truth before his eyes. This was the thing which you were trying to escape. You know, one of the famous Sufi masters said so beautifully and so poetically, when the eyes close, the eyes open. That means when your physical eyes close at the time of death, then your spiritual eyes open up. So when your eyes close, your eyes open. Your eyes close and your eyes open. The eyes close at the stupor of death. And when your physical eyes are now closed and the family around you say, okay, he's now dead. But inside your body, your spiritual eyes have opened up. Your soul is now looking at the angel of death, and you are seeing the penalty in front of you, and you will be in a great state of panic. And for the unbelievers and the deniers of truth, their soul is to be running around the body to try and escape the angel of death, but they cannot escape. Their soul will be ripped out as you rip out wet wool, pulling it through thorns or barbed wire. It will be ripped to pieces. And the pain for eternity will start from that moment on. But from an outside point of view, you can be laying comfortably in a hospital bed, and people will say, yes, no, he passed peacefully, he died peacefully, surrounded by his family and loved ones, and everything went off very peacefully, but they don't know that his soul, his punishment is already started. This was the thing which you're trying to escape. This is the reality of those people who don't want to believe in the reality of the hereafter, who don't want to believe in the reality of a soul, who don't care about a spiritual dimension, who only care about this world of atoms and molecules. They say, only if I can see it and touch it, I will believe it, otherwise I don't believe it. These are the very same people who will be in a state of great shock and great regret. Stay well, look after yourself, alhamdulillah.